All right, good morning, everyone. I'm sorry for not being there in person. I love to be there, but I couldn't make it. So in my talk, I like to talk about why come to class in the AI era, and this is actually a qualitative invest study of 9 students for an introductory statistics course. And actually, this is I think, a more deep question than just for a statistics course setting. For example, I can easily phrase this question: why come to conferences in the AI era? Or why go to job places, offices in the AI era? So basically, thanks to, especially after COVID, we just switched to online settings very quickly. So in this study, we like to dive into, you like to investigate why students actually should come to class, and especially why they need to come to class in a statistics course. All right, this is my outline. I'd like to start with introduction. As I said at the beginning, thanks to the COVID, after the COVID, actually, we are transiting from remote to in-person learning. But as we all know, as we all actually experience in our classes, attendance and engagement remain still low, with students feeling disconnected. And also, there are actually a lot of class recordings and videos available right now. This is also affecting student engagement. And then thanks to ChatGPT and other actually tools that Dr. Orhan actually mentioned in the previous presentation, now we have the new AI era. So thanks to the new AI era, there are actually new personalized learning experiences that may reduce attendance, but they may increase engagement. So basically, when you all sum up all these, actually, how is attendance and engagement in classrooms are actually going? Where are they actually going? At the same time, of course, there are some benefits for instructional videos. First of all, it is accessible for students who are not unable to attend the class. And also, another feedback students keep saying, they can review challenging content again and again if there is a recording. And in our actually research problem, we asked this question: how do students compare 3 modalities? We focus on 3 modalities. The first one is actually attending class in person. And the second and the third one is about video-based class teaching. In the second one, we just said, watch the class recording, only lecture recording. And the third modality is watch pre-recorded videos. So what are these actually? So let me go to my next slide. And when we look at the literature, actually, there are actually 3 different videos, video instructional learning. The first one, the older one, is screen capture recording. This is just like a pre-recorded video, but there is only frame-by-frame recordings of slides and with audio. And more recent one is lecture capture recording. So these are the instructor-led classes with visible teaching elements. And thanks to the COVID, this is actually very common nowadays. And the third category of videos is actually pre-recorded videos. So this is not in a class. This is maybe in professor's own room. They just record without the existence of students in their own spaces. And of course, this is flexible format and length, but it is lacking live interactions. And there are different findings in terms of attendance. Some studies say there is no decline in attendance after this video-based learning. And there are other reports say there are negative impacts on attendance. And another actually related research is lower achieving students often rely on videos, but they are basically maybe doing the surface level learning. And when we sum up all these, actually, we framed our theoretical framework into 2 learning theory. The first one is metacognition. First of all, we assume that students are actually able to reflect their own thinking for successful learning. So they know, they are aware what effective learning strategies apply for them. And they're also able to assess the effectiveness of these strategies. And more recently, actually, self-regulated learning. In this one, again, similarly with the metacognition, students are again aware of the strategies they use to learn. they can also motivate themselves to engage in learning, and they can develop strategies and tactics to enhance learning. So basically, students are able to judge their learning experience, and then in a continuous cycle, they can engage, reflect, and adjust their learning strategies. But at the same time, there is actually another line of research here. Sometimes perception and realities are different. So what I mean by that, sometimes students say they are really learning very well, but at the end of the day, they don't really learn very well. There is a study, for example, in 2013, it says that students often overestimate learning in less challenging settings. So they assume they learn very well, but at the end, they are not. There is another actually study here in 2019. So they say that it says that actually active learning leads to better outcomes, but students in an active learning classrooms feel that they understand less. So sometimes whenever a student gets challenges, they may feel that they are not learning very well, but at the end of the day, they really learn. So perception and reality also could be different. And at the same time, when it comes to specifically our topic, video-based versus in-person learning, students actually can prefer video, but they rely on memorization and limiting deep learning. So they watch video just like cooking, right? Just following the instructions. They are learning how to, solve some problems, but this is not actually very deep learning. And sometimes there are some pragmatic students, they aim for efficiency. They like to do a lot of things in a short amount of time, and they don't really value deep understanding. And what is the gap actually right now? There are not too many qualitative studies actually, in the literature, especially in statistics education. And what we do in this study, we like to work on, as I said at the very beginning, 3 different modalities, but basically we are comparing in-person versus video-based learning, specifically for introductory statistics course. Okay, what's our methodology here? We actually collected data from 9 students, and these students are from a large lecture biostatistics course. This course was actually offered in fall 2023. And our students are primarily first year and second year students. And this is a required course, not for all of them, but for many of them, especially for biology and chemistry programs. And what we did actually, so we assigned each student one of these 3 learning modalities. Again, attend in person, watch the class recording, watch a pre-recorded instructor video. Of course, when they attend in person, for example, when they watch a pre-recorded instructor video, they shouldn't attend class in person. And we had two rounds of actually interview, and in each round, actually, we just assign students a different modality randomly. And then after each classroom sessions, we had a 30-minute interviews within 5 days of each class. And we basically covered these 3 topics. So what is the experience with the assigned modality? What is the understanding of the class content? So we asked them how they understood the topic. And what are their learning habits and reflections based on the modality? And when we analyze our data, we followed a phenomenological approach. So we basically focus on student experience, personal experience, with these 2 guiding questions. What differences do students notice between in-person and video-based learning? And the second question was, are there differences in how students learn and engage across modalities? So we also try to dig student engagement in different modalities. And we did an iterative analysis. So after the first round, we summarized all the interviews, developed memos, and identified emerging themes. And in the second round, actually, we did something different this time. In the second round interview, we coded all interview transcripts based on actually 5 different themes, such as views on statistics, understanding the content, perceptions of learning, and differences between in-person and video-based, and differences between class recordings and pre-recorded. And then we had a comparative method to refine and triangulate these themes. What are our findings? First of all, these are the student profiles that we found out. Interestingly, we came up all different profiles actually within those 9 students. For example, student 1 is a distracted learner. She's just getting distracted a lot quickly. But at the same time, we have student 4, social learner. So likes to discuss with his friend, with his instructor. There is actually student 9, the focused learner. So as you see, there are actually different types of students actually we dealt with. And of course, the results and findings will change based on the student profile. Okay, what are our findings? First of all, what are some motivations for attending in-person class? So why should students attend in-person class? So what they say, especially, they say about the structure. Having a structure, a solid structure is a good thing behind in-person classes. For example, student 1 and 7 says in-person classes actually provide structure and reduce stresses. So they say that whenever they have a solid class in their schedule, it is easier for them to follow the lecture. And student 3 said that in-person attendance is actually helping to avoid delaying tasks. That some students could have some procrastination problem. So having such an in-person class could help with that. And most of the students said that in-person attendance is helping students focus by minimizing distractions and avoiding the temptation to multitask. Yeah, if they're attending, in a video-based class, there was one student who was actually folding his laundry while listening to the lecture. So they are more actually tempted for multitask, but if they are in the class, they are more focused. One student, actually, student 6, only said that he is better in focusing at home because he says there are some classroom distractions as well. So let me remind you, student 6 is the self-directed learner. So basically, he likes to learn by himself. He doesn't want distractions coming from the classroom setting. But overall, students said that in-person classes are helping to focus better. And more importantly, maybe, interactions are also, of course, different across modalities. The in-person class attendance definitely allows for social opportunities. And then some students prefer in-person learning for hearing others' perspective, even without direct interactions. Yeah, there are some shy students. They don't like to talk with other students, but at the same time, they like to hear about other students' questions. So what are they actually saying? What are they asking? And of course, another thing about interaction is collaboration outside of the class begins in class. And that's why attending actually in-person class is also providing that. And another thing for the interaction, students value the opportunity to ask questions to the instructor during or after class. Yeah, there are 2 students, they said that they are shy to ask during the classroom, but right after the class, they can easily ask to the professor. So in terms of interactions, when I say interaction, I mean student-to-student interaction or student-instructor interaction. Attending in-person classes are actually very well. And another main theme actually appeared in our interviews is sense of security. Yeah, students are actually talking about this sense of security a lot when they talk about their preferences in-person class attendance. So we were initially assuming that in-person class is fostering deeper and conceptual understanding, and engagements are becoming more meaningful in an in-person class. But what we found is slightly different than our initial hypothesis. What students told us in their interview, they said that in-person attendance is related with sense of security. So they feel well when they attend classes, but it is not actually resulting in deeper learning. So attending in-person classes does not guarantee deeper learning, but definitely it is actually giving a sense of security to students. For example, student 8 said she feels accountable through attending classes. And then she says learning is actually equal to listening and note taking. As you see here, right, this could be not deeper learning, but she feels safe to do that. And another thing is student 3 says in-person class is giving the full vibe. So she thinks that when she attends class in person, she has everything that she needs, and she feels incomplete without attendance. And what could be some implications from these observations? Structure and consistency through attendance are definitely helpful. So attending in person is giving structure, but could hinder deep learning if students feel unchallenged. So if they attend class, but if they are not getting challenged a lot, then they don't really learn very well. This is what we observed in our interviews. Another dimension of our research is what about pre-recorded versus lecture recorded? The first thing came out actually is the interaction again. Students value lecture recordings for real-time questions and dynamic exchanges. In lecture recordings, right, other students inside the classroom are asking questions and instructor is answering. So this dynamic exchange is actually is appreciated by students. For example, a student one says that he likes to learn from peers' question and exchanging, enhancing understanding. But another result emerged from interviews is some students prefer pre-recorded videos. What is the reason for that? They think that pre-recorded videos are more focused and uninterrupted content delivery. So some students say that having those questions from other students are causing interruptions. And whenever instructor is recording a pre-recorded video, he is more focused on the content without dealing in other thing. And another line of actually result said that instructors' enthusiasm is also very important. And pre-recorded video doesn't have that enthusiasm because, for example, as student 6 says, whenever professor lectures in a classroom setting, he also passes his energy. But when you look at the pre-recorded videos, it is more monotone because there is no one actually in front of the instructor. So pre-recorded videos are really monotone, they say. What we also observed as another finding, metacognition and self-regulation is actually quite important in learning these different modalities. So it is important to students actually, as I said at the beginning, they could have different learning strategies. Those learning strategies are also affecting the learning experiences in different modalities. These are some results. For example, student 4 said that she is shifting from procedural views to self-regulated learning through peer discussion. That's why she really values the peer-to-peer interactions. But at the same time, there are 4 students, student 3, 1, 5, and 8. They displaced surface learning in both modalities. So it doesn't really matter for them whether attending in person or watching video. They don't want to learn deeply. They just grasp whatever they need. So that's why it doesn't matter for them actually. But at the same time, student 2, for example, he said that he likes to engage in peer discussions and she's becoming more successful with conceptual content in videos. And students 6, 7, and 9 actually demonstrated metacognitive skills to learn deeply with videos, and so on and so forth. So as you see here, students' metacognition and self-regulation characteristics are also affecting their preferences on different modalities. All right, let me conclude. So we did a qualitative examination of 9 students. We randomly assigned students in in-person class recordings and pre-recorded video modalities. What are some of our key findings? Students actually are performing well when they rely videos. And if there are some struggling students, they are struggling no matter what the modality is. For some of course, some students, not all of them. Only one student showed significant improvement in understanding from attending classes. What could be some implication? It is important to actually teach students how to learn, not just statistics. Sometimes students are not aware how to learn, what methods to use, what strategies to use. Another actual implication is we can integrate learning tips early in the course. Or another implication, we can use some visual learning maps to scaffold learning. And we also need for students to identify key concepts and self-question for their understanding. So students at the same time should be aware of their weakness and strategies that are more effective for them. What could be some future research direction? We can investigate how these modalities influence reflective learning and ownership of learning. And we can also consider structured opportunities for collaboration and reflection in larger classes. All right, that's all my talk. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Professor Aktas. We can make time for short questions. Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
So I would like to just give it as a feedback. I'm sure you are going to look into that one. Are there any other parameters impacting the learning experience, like people who are working versus who are only a student, or people who have disabilities and people who do not have any? So there are other parameters, although the characteristics of the learner is different, but they have to stick to one style because of their environment.
Yeah, that's a great suggestion. Yeah, definitely. At the what we did is we just randomly selected students, and we didn't really care about, we didn't care about their demographics also. So, but you're right, we can incorporate those different actually characteristics of students and have a deeper actually analysis. You're right. Thanks so much.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you, Professor Aktas. Thank you for the good presentation. Just an FYI on the word map, I don't see an Albanian. Thank you. Just, you can add that later. All right.
Just add one.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much.